In this problem, we're told that the lifetime of a particular battery is normally distributed with a mean of 2.3 hours and a standard deviation of 1.8 hours. And what we want to know here is what percent of the batteries last less than 10 hours, more than 15 hours, and between 13 and 14 hours. So why don't you go ahead and try to solve these, and you can press pause, work through these, and then when you're done, restart the video and you can see how you did. Okay, so let's go ahead and give these a try. So in this case, it's the lifetime of batteries that are normally distributed. The mean is 12.3 hours. The standard deviation is 1.8 hours. So we want to find the probability that it's less than 10 hours. So the mean is 12.3, standard deviation is 1.8, and so 10 hours is it's a little over 1 standard deviation from the mean, maybe about there. And what you want to do is you want to find the percent of batteries that are less than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the z-score for 10. So 10 minus 12.3 divided by 1.8. Let's find out what this is. And you get like negative 1.28 when you round to two decimal places. So 1.28. So if that's the x-score, so the z-score is negative 1.28. Now if you think back to those three cases, this is the first case, the simplest one, where all you got to do is look it up on the table, and the area on the table is the percentage that you want in decimal form. So negative 1.28, I get 0.1003. So this is 0.1003. And so it looks like the percentage would be like 10.03%. So this would be the percent of batteries that last less than 10 hours. Okay, so now the next one. We want to find what's the probability that they last more than 15 hours. Okay, so if you think of those three cases, this is the second case where you want all the area above. So you have to look it up and subtract from 1. And so I'll draw my curve. The mean is 12.3. The standard deviation is 1.8. And 12.3 is probably a little further up than that was down. Maybe something like that, 15. And I want to get that area, in this case the area above the 15. So z here would be 15 minus 12.3 divided by 1.8. And we get, so 15 minus 12.3. We divide that by 1.8. And it looks like that is actually equal to 1.50. 1.50. So that's your x value. The z value just happens to be 1.50 in this case. So I'm going to look that up on the positive side of my table, 1.50, and I get 0.9332. So clearly that's the area. That is the area below the mean, 93%, the majority of the area below the mean, but I want this area above the mean. So this is that second case where you have to subtract from 1. So 1 minus 0.9332. So 1 minus 0.9332, and I get 0.0668. Okay, so that in percentage form would be 6.68%. So what percentage of all the batteries lies or last longer than 15 hours? About 6.68% of them. And now the final one between 13 and 14 hours. So let's draw our curve here. So the center is 12.3, standard deviation 1.8. 13 is kind of close to the mean. 14 is above that a little bit, and you want this area between those two. So this involves finding the z-score for each one, and then looking them both up and subtracting the areas. So for 13, it would be 13 minus 12.3 divided by 1.8. So 13 minus 12.3, divide that by 1.8, and we get 0.39 when I round to 2 decimal places. And now 14 minus 12.3 divided by 1.8. So 14 minus 12.3 divided by 1.8. And that is 0.94 when I round to 2 decimal places. So these are the two z-scores. So this one here is 0.94, this one here is 0.39, right? And so I'm going to find these two areas and subtract them. They're both positive, so we go on the positive side of the table. I'll look at 0.94 first, and I get 0.8264. 0.8264. And then I look up 0.39. 0.39 next. I get 0.6517. And so now I subtract these two. 0.8264 minus 0.6517. So 0.8264 minus 0.6517. And I get 0.1747, which would be 17.47%. So what percent of the batteries last between 13 and 14 hours? 17.47% of the batteries. And so there you go. That problem contains all three of those original cases. When you want to find the area below a z-score, above a z-score, between two z-scores. So quick review: if it's below, you just look it up and you get the area. If it's above, you got to look it up and then subtract that from 1 to get the area. If it's between two z-scores, you got to find both z-scores, look up the two areas, or find both z-scores over here, look up the two areas, subtract the two areas to get the area between. So I'm going to have one more video where the wording's maybe a little bit trickier. You're going to have to think about it. And I'll give you a chance to work on it before we work it out together. And this is actually the final video. After this, we're done with all the material in this course. And so when you get done with the normal distribution homework, you might want to look at the review that I put up on Canvas. Maybe I'll move that to the top. And you can you start getting ready for that final, and I got to start writing that final. So, okay, one more video.